Good morning, Kota territory, and welcome to the Kota Now Desk. Welcome back to another DIY Friday Delights. I am your host, Mimi Herrick. Today we are joined by our investigative reporter, Blake Troli. Blake, thank you so much for joining me bright and early today.
Happy to be here.
I am really excited because you threw out this idea to me because you said you weren't very good at crafting.
Absolutely good at just about nothing. I don't even know how this is going to go. I haven't brewed French press coffee in like 5 years.
Well, it seems simple
But I think I remember.
Okay. Well, what we've got here is obviously 2 coffee mugs, some boiled water that's probably a little less boiling now.
We said we're making a room temperature cup, which we might be onto something new.
Yeah, not cold brew, not hot, so a little bit in between here. Let's go ahead and just get started on this. I'll start scooping. About how much coffee should I use?
Let's do a lot. I like my coffee so rich that you could noodle for catfish in it.
That's a crazy
That's the only way to get the
statement.
kind of caffeine that I need to power my day as a reporter.
All right,
you know?
so what's your go-to coffee order then?
My go-to coffee order is actually, lately, it's been tea. I've switched to tea. I'm
Really?
31 years old now. Coffee's pretty acidic. It's kind of hard on the system.
It is, it is.
So I've lately been drinking a lot of teas. Are you on the tea kick?
I'm on a tea kick, but I am always on a coffee and energy drink grind. One of our questions of the day actually this week was, what's your go-to coffee order? So that's why I'm hitting you with it.
Okay.
Because it's fresh on my mind.
Yeah.
But typically I'm like a vanilla latte kind of person.
Okay. I do like a nice vanilla latte, and it does bring down the acidity when you add the milk and the sugar.
Yeah, it's good. It's not like good for you per se, but it tastes good, right?
Yeah.
And that's like what I want when I'm going to a fancy
That's what's
coffee
most
place.
important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll throw out all the health stuff.
All right, I'm going to have you go ahead and pour that water in and just, I guess, guesstimate here. So, Blake, you have been at Kota for how long now? A couple months.
Actually, like 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Whoa, time flies.
I know, isn't that wild?
That's crazy to
I was thinking about that
about.
the other day. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to measure my time at Kota because I got here in January.
Oh, okay. Wow, yeah, so almost 6 months.
We're going to go with that.
Okay, yeah, that looks good enough to me. And then we'll just kind of let it hang out for a while.
Yeah,
right?
so
That's
you can
how
put the
this
lid on
works?
top. This is going to help keep the heat in on this coffee. I think I'm already doing it backwards. Actually, no.
No, that's
I'm
the
not.
correct way.
There we go.
You just have to really get it in there.
There we go. Perfect.
Perfect, nice. And so you do a lot of our more investigative stories. Can you kind of describe what a day in the life of Blake Troli looks like?
Yeah, I usually wake up, check my emails, come into the office, check my emails again, send out even more emails, annoy the living heck out of Western South Dakota until I get an interview.
Yes.
Then I go conduct that interview, put the package together, go home, make a bowl of popcorn almost every single day.
Really?
I get
You're
home, make a bowl of popcorn, yeah, and then go to sleep. What about you? What is your, I'm sure you've talked about this a lot on the show, but we'll Groundhog Day the viewers today.
Yeah, okay, why not? It depends on the day, right? Usually, typically, when I'm not producing, like today I came in at midnight, which is unusual for me, but most of the time I get here at 3, and then I kind of read scripts. I do stuff for our Instagram in the morning, get all of that up and rolling for digital. From the night before, since I'm not up late enough to get the stuff from.
What time do you get up? I was going to say, what time does your day get going?
Get up at 2:30. I roll out of bed and I come here because luckily I keep most of my like makeup, hair, clothes for in the studio here, so I don't have to like think about it that hard. But basically, I just roll out of bed.
Are you used to it? Have you ever acclimated to getting up at 2:30 in the morning?
I mean, I've always been a morning person. I grew up on the swim team, so I'm no stranger to a 5 a.m. wake up, and so a 3 a.m. wake up is like just 2 hours earlier than that. It's not that, I don't know. But anytime anyone complains about getting up early, though, now like they can't do it in front of me. I'm sure you've felt similarly if you've had weird hours in the past.
I've had weird hours. I never got used to them. I didn't grow up on the swim team. I grew up getting home and playing Halo.
Okay.
So there was never a point. Yeah, when I was working. So I am from LA.
Yes.
I grew up in LA. I actually worked in Rapid City a few years ago, then moved to Fresno, then to Portland, Oregon, back to LA, then back to Rapid City. So I've kind of been all over the map. But when I was in LA at my last year, I had the morning shift. I had to get up at like, it wasn't really that early. I mean, this is like minor leagues compared to what you're talking about. I had to get up at like, I think 4 in the morning most mornings, sometimes 3:30. I never acclimated.
Really?
More than a year. Never was used to it.
That's
Always
so
hurt.
interesting. I think it's honestly just it depends on like the rhythm of your, what is it called, circadian rhythm? Is that the correct? I don't know.
I'm not going to correct you. We'll just roll with
I'm
it.
not a scientist, but I think, yeah, it just depends on that because I've always been a morning person. Like the second I'm up for the day. But I am a big fan of an afternoon nap.
Do you think you could switch back now?
No. I don't think I could do anything else besides mornings.
Yeah. So now, do you,
honest.
like when you're Saturday, like what time do you get up on your day off? Because I imagine you're now in whatever that word is that you said that I've
Circadian
never
rhythm.
heard in my life. But I'm sure, but okay. But you're in that rhythm. You're in this sleep, wake up pattern. So my question to you would be, when it's Saturday, what time do you get up?
I usually get up around, well, okay, I'll wake up first in a cold sweat at like 4:30 and be like, I'm late for work.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm not. And then I sleep probably till like 7 or 8.
Yeah. I like how you wake up in a cold sweat that you're late for. I wake up like thinking I'm probably going to be late, like, okay, well, I think I still have time for oatmeal.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I guess it's just because I'm so used to like my alarm, I don't even think about it anymore. Like I have it already auto set, and when it doesn't go off, I'm like, I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late.
So
and
now
there's
once
no
you
one
get
to
past the
anchor show.
4:30, what do you do with your time? So you've got 4:30 now. You got the whole morning.
Mm-hmm.
The day is your oyster at this
Go
point.
back to bed. I run a lot, hang out.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. I have a lot of like silly little hobbies, which is why we're doing this little show.
Do you visit your family a lot?
I'm from Chicago, so like not really.
My question is like when you stay with them, are you up really early? It's like that awkwardness now where you know when you're up first.
Well, my mom is a doctor, so
Okay.
no, she's also up with me.
Wow.
So typically we're a running together type of group, but yeah, which is psychotic of us. I don't know why we do it. So you were from LA, you said originally.
Yeah, well, I'm from a suburb of LA.
Okay.
You know, I feel like I'm rounding up by saying I'm actually from LA proper.
And
I'm from a city called Claremont, so it's actually 25 miles, I think, outside of LA. It's in LA County, and it's a really unique place in the sense that we're actually at the base of a mountain that's 10,000 feet, something like that. It's called Mount Baldy
cool.
and or Mount San Antonio, depending on who you ask. You can trout fish. There's pine trees. There's bears, mountain. I mean, it's totally like a little outdoor park right
Have
there.
you ever had an encounter with a bear?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but not, you know, I did have one in Mount Baldy. I was hiking and I saw one up there. I've had a few.
Okay.
Should we go through my bear
Yes,
encounters?
I'd love to know your bear encounters.
We'll go through my bear
never-
encounters. So when I was working in LA, I lived in a city called Sierra Madre, which has a ton of bears. In fact, it's like almost a city issue that there's so many bears. A bear got into my neighbor's place. A bear, there were a lot of days where I'd look out my window. I'll show you this when we get off, but I have a photo of a mama bear and her cub right outside my window under a tree.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we were in the foothills, and we were just right at the base of the Angeles National Forest, so we had tons of bears. Driving into work, bears would run across the street. So when I was living there, I lived there for 2 years, I saw a lot of bears.
Okay.
In Claremont, I saw a few bears. That's where I grew up. Mount Baldy saw a bear, but the most intense story of them all, I was hiking, and this was during COVID, so like doing a lot of hiking.
Yeah,
And
that's a solo activity.
Solo activity. And I was hiking through, this is when I was like working in Portland. This is near Hood River, Oregon. I was on a hike out on a road, and this big black bear ran out on the road, looked at me, and ran away.
Okay.
And I just remember my heart rate was just going through the roof.
Mine would have been too. Bears are so scary. Like, they are so cute, right? But they are so scary. So you've had quite the journey to get here before you were at Kota. You kind of mentioned it a little bit. Can you tell me how you kind of got into journalism originally? Did you grow up always wanting to do it?
No.
I'm also going to go ahead and
The
press
key
this.
the key to my journalism career is there any, can I request that we superimpose it? Look at that. Look at that press. I was just a terrible business student, really. And I always wanted, like, I didn't even know journalism was like a thing. So I was a business student. I went to college in Montana, and essentially went into being a radio DJ from college.
Fun.
And I was like a country music DJ, a rock DJ. Like that was kind of the first couple of years of my career. And I remember telling my parents one day that that is chocolate milk, by the way. I mean, we are drinking motor oil.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how this turns out. I feel like maybe we put a lot of coffee.
Well, I told you I like it strong. So this is going to be nice. Like, we're going to be energized probably for the whole weekend by drinking this. But yeah, so I was a DJ, wanted to go into news. I was always, as a DJ, I think I was talking about things that were too nerdy. I don't think the radio stations like that. So I ended up going into journalism, yeah.
That
What about
actually
you?
is not bad.
How'd you end up in journalism?
Oh, well, well, it's a fun story. When I was really little, I think I was in like 3rd grade, we had to do a special number report about our favorite number, right? And my mom had the idea, she was like, why don't you dress up like a news anchor and you're doing a news story about the number 27? And yeah, so then I did that and I was like, oh, cool. So can I do that as like for real? It just kind of.
You don't think it's something you can do for real, right?
No,
like growing up?
No, not at all. I thought like, oh yeah, the people on the TV, like they're not real, they're just on the TV. Like they just live in the TV.
They're like the pictures in Harry Potter.
Exactly, exactly.
They live there. They live in the wall.
It's like how you think your teachers live at school when you're little.
Yes.
I thought that the people in the TV lived in the TV. But yeah, that was pretty much how I first thought of it. And then I always really liked writing when I was younger, and then just sort of stuck with it through college, and then I really discovered like, oh, I like being in front of a camera. I like talking to a camera. I like hearing myself speak clearly.
Yeah. I hate being in front of a camera.
Really?
Yeah, I'm hating every minute of this, to be honest with you. I don't like the attention. Well, you know, I was a radio person.
Right, so you're
I
not
did
used to being
radio.
in front of the camera as much.
I always liked to, in fact, like, so the last 3 years I spent at a radio station called KFI in Los Angeles, and you know, in LA, everything's a press conference, right? Like the chance that you actually interview some of these people one-on-one is very low. So sometimes I would like end up in the shot, and I just see, like I mean, in radio, we're not dressing like we're on TV, right? And I'd see myself on like one of these local channels, like, ay. That just went out to the whole world. That's great.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So what made you decide to come here to Kota territory originally? Like,
I loved my time in Rapid City the first time. I did. My grandma's from Rapid City.
Okay.
My grandma's from here. When I was in college in Montana, I drove over here my 21st birthday weekend just to see the area.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this place is just beautiful, right? I mean, the Black Hills is just such an amazing place. So in my broadcast career, I saw a job open here to do news radio. So I came here, I did news radio from 2018 to 2019, I think. We're going to go with that timeline. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, though. And so
the area must have really just spoken to you then.
It spoke to me. It did. It really did. But, you know, as we do in broadcast, you know, I wanted to do the bigger markets and do all that stuff. So went to Fresno, went to Portland, then again was home in Southern California working for the last 3 years. And I'm not there anymore. I'll just put it that way.
Was there a reason you wanted to come back to Rapid City? Was it mostly just the area? Or
yeah, it was the area. Yeah. You know what? Whatever. I'll just say it. I got laid off. There were layoffs. I got laid off. And but Rapid City was always a place that I wanted to come back to. It was a place that I thought about a lot. One of my good friends, she was living here, so she'd be sending me photos from the Black Hills. And yeah, it was just always one of those places where I always felt such a connection to it, especially if somebody likes to fish, hike, do all the things that you can do in the Black Hills. So it wasn't a very hard decision to come right back when I had the opportunity.
Oh, totally. I mean, I completely understand that. After being here for like a year now, I'm like, wow, why would anyone ever want to leave? I mean, I want to be closer to Chicago, but as like a big city person, what has been like the most challenging part about being somewhere that's a little more small town feel like Rapid City?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously you're not gonna get the same kind of amenities that you do in LA, right? Where you throw a rock and you hit like 8 sushi restaurants, a coffee shop, a brewery, you know, but at the end of the day, there still are amazing amenities here, and I think it's growing. One of the coolest things to see from 2018 to now is like how much Rapid City has even added some cool restaurants, some cool things to do. When I was here a few years ago, some of these things weren't here. I remember Lost Cabin was new, the brewery.
Really?
Yeah, and it was really exciting at the time. They came to our radio station. We drank their beer on the air.
Yeah,
and,
as you should.
As you should. And I remember thinking, wow, like this, you know, that was to me almost like one of the first steps of like new things coming to town. And there's now restaurants I still need to try. And so, yeah, what about you? I mean, what did you notice? You're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, you know, I think the hardest part for me was like getting used to it being a little bit quieter. I mean, like not quieter per se, and there's less things going on. I think quieter perhaps with people. You know, when you're in a big city, it's loud, noise, always, people everywhere and but the ability to be able to go out and get peace, like you just drive 15 minutes and you're in the forest. Like, it's so nice to be able to go out and get that kind of peace. Like when I was living in Chicago, the only way you can get that is if you're like way out on Lake Michigan, away enough that you won't be hearing sounds of the city still. And I miss the sounds of the city, but it's nice to get away from that, right?
Yeah, well, I always say you kind of adapt to each. So like college was a really, like that was like culture shock to me. And really smartphones weren't that new when I went to Montana. So it was like a shock to go from LA County to Montana. And I didn't even know what Montana was. I didn't know it was like this beautiful state with mountains. I didn't even know what to expect. It was just the cheapest option. Remember that old website, College Board? That's how I found it. I just put the price, My dad's in real estate. This is around like '08. You know, '08 wasn't very far in the rearview mirror. It was like, got to go where it's cheap. And I went up there, and I remember just being at first like, wow, like, I mean, it was kind of hard to live there, to be honest with you, because you were so used to all that chaos and all that city chaos. And then through the years, I grew, you know, of being there, I grew to really appreciate that. And now it's like I can kind of appreciate both. So if I'm somewhere more rural, I have a big appreciation for that quietness. And it seems like the longer I'm there, the less I want to go back to the city, and kind of vice versa, right?
Oh, totally. I completely understand that. I feel the same way. I think having that appreciation for both is so crucial. Before we wrap up here, since we are kind of running out of time and I want to go home.
Yeah.
I've been here since midnight. Got to go to bed. As we wrap up, what is your #1 guilty pleasure?
Oh, Love Island UK. I haven't, Love Island UK, definitely. You know, I started watching that show, my friend had put it on, and I was gonna take a nap. It was episode 1 of like a recent season. And I was like, I'm just gonna take a nap, you know. But I start listening to like the dialogue on the show.
The drama is crazy.
Absolute beautiful TV. And now I'm up. And I'm like glued to the TV.
You're locked
Watched the whole season, and then I started the All-Star season, which I think is the most recent one. I've watched a few episodes. I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do like Love Island. Like when I watch it, I can't watch one episode. I gotta watch like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
What about you?
Guilty pleasure, I'm like a big romance reader. Like that's a guilty pleasure for me, because sometimes those really trashy books, like they are so gripping that it'll get me for all 200 pages, and then at the end I'm like, why did I do this to myself? Because I hated every second of it, but I couldn't put it down.
You know, can I just end with, I just want to say something like add on reading. I think what's interesting, I can't read fiction. Like my brain doesn't put, like the pictures don't develop when I'm reading the words. Yeah.
That's such an interesting, we'll get into that
Somebody's going to be diagnosing me on the internet. But like,
it's like, we'll get into this off the air.
Yeah,
so
I remember trying to read Harry Potter. I knew the movie. I thought that will help. I'll track with the movie.
Yeah.
And I was reading the book, and it was like, no, draw nothing here. So, a nonfiction guy.
I mean, fair enough. Well, anyway, this is DIY Friday Delights. Thank you so much for joining us here today on this Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you right back here next week.